Good Wednesday Pelham Road. Welcome to the studios here at Pelham Road Baptist Church. I'm joined by the incomparable Gene Holdway. And Gene's going to pick us a little tune today, and we're going to have a little interview with him. So Gene, you just go ahead and pick us something to begin with. I know the folks want to hear a little music.
All right, we'll do that. One of my favorite songs from one of my favorite songwriters. His name is Michael Reno Harrell.
Okay.
I wish I had my old truck back. The one I traded in on that new Dodge van. The radio didn't work and the windshield cracked, but the wheel just felt right in my hand. It took a brand new pair of vice grips to roll the driver's window up. But I miss that truck. I miss that truck. I've still got my first guitar, an old pawn shop key with a cardboard case. It made me friends and it opened doors. With the first three chords I learned to play. Well, that old guitar's what put me on this road when I was a kid. And I'm glad it did. I'm glad it did. Old things ain't always best, sometimes it's best to go with the new. Ah, but some old things become old friends, the kind you hate to lose. Old things are keys to memories, so keep the ones you can. 'Cause the journey is where you're going, but it's also where you've been. One thing I still miss to this very day, an old Levi jacket that I once owned. Had the perfect fit and the perfect fade, 'cause I washed it 13 times when I got it home. A little girl I met from Greenville stole that coat with one sweet kiss. It ain't her a miss. It ain't her a miss. Old things ain't always best, sometimes it's best to go with new. Ah, but some old things become old friends, the kind you hate to lose. Old things are keys to memories, so keep the ones you can. 'Cause the journey's where you go, but it's also where you've been. I've still got my old high school yearbooks. I've got my gloves from Little League. Somewhere I've got myself a picture of John Roy and me. But the thing that means the most to me, that's my mama's wedding band. On my wife's left hand, I'm a lucky man. Old things ain't always best, sometimes it's best to go with new. Ah, but some old things become old friends, the kind you hate to lose. Old things are keys to Yeah, the journey is where you're going, but it's also where you've been.
Seems like there ought to be applause for that. Well done, sir.
Oh, thank you.
So what attracts you to a song? Like you said, you like that songwriter, and that obviously is a very touching song. What attracts you to songs?
The lyrics are typically what causes me to listen further than the first 2 or 3 lines, and there are people who are just genuinely gifted with lyrics, and I like songs that tell stories and or that take me back to places I've been or experiences that I've had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I love acoustic music.
One of the powerful things about music is the effect it has called nostalgia. When you hear a piece of music, like if I was to size you up, I'd say you were north of 50 but south of 90. Would that be about right? Somewhere in between there. So you don't even have a comeback to that, do you? You're speechless. That's never happened to you.
I just didn't realize that you were that psychic and could figure stuff out that quick.
Well,
but yes, that would be an accurate
that'd be
statement.
accurate. So let's say that you had your radio in your car and you heard. Did you hear some Elvis on your radio?
I have, yes.
Okay. All right. So when you hear an Elvis tune, even today, it has the power to take you back to wherever you were sitting in that car at Myrtle Beach.
Exactly right.
And so that's one of the powers of music. Now, since I've already alluded to the fact that you're not a spring chicken, your fingers are quite nimble. Do you take something to make your fingers that nimble, or are you just naturally nimble like that?
Well, a lot of people get up and walk every day to keep their everything in condition. I play guitar literally every day.
Okay.
It's my day is not complete
All right.
till I've sat down and played a little. It is truly my psychiatrist.
Well, we're going to continue here on the couch in the psychiatry room. So when did you pick up a guitar for the first time and learn to play?
My dad used to get me up every morning when I was just 6, 7, 8 years old. He loved straight ahead diehard bluegrass, and you could get WSM out of Nashville nationwide. It was a broadband signal. I don't know what the exact phrase for that is. And he would have me listen to Flatt & Scruggs,
Really?
Which is names that some of these people will not know.
But they did listen to a story about a man named Jed, right?
You mean that one that went, come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground came a bubbling crude. Oil, that is.
Black gold.
Texas tea. Well, first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kin folks said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is a place you ought to be.
So they loaded up the truck.
And they moved to Beverly
Hills, that is.
Reminds me of Greenville.
Okay, so you listen to Flatt & Scruggs in the mornings, and that's where you got your inspiration.
Yeah, that's where it started.
But when did you get your first guitar?
I got my first guitar, I was probably in the 6th or 7th grade. Got it for Christmas. It was an old Sunburst Silvertone.
Okay.
That the action on it was set up about this high, and it would just tear your fingers all to pieces. But I loved it.
I bet you did.
I just absolutely loved it. And it today resides with a cousin of mine down in Georgia, and it's also the guitar he started playing on, and he's a very accomplished musician. But yeah, it's
now prior to COVID, you used to play some gigs, as they say in the business. Where were some of the places that you played around Greenville and Asheville and so forth?
I play any place that people will actually listen.
Okay.
I've worked quite a bit at a place that you've actually visited over at the Stomping Grounds in Greer. That's been a great little spot.
Yeah.
I still do today because it's outside and can be socially distanced. I work at a restaurant in Tryon called Huckleberries, which is, I'll give them a little plug here. It's wonderful food, great service, and just a great environment. And I work at some of the vineyards around Burnt Shirt and Mountain Brook Vineyard. I've worked at Brick Street Cafe. And then some of what I really enjoy doing, I'll work at some senior living places where I'm the youngster in the room. It makes me just feel young all over, because you can do a spectrum of music that you've got to be my age and up to even remember some of that going, but I love it.
Before we do another song, tell me, who is it that you listen to and you enjoy listening to that might surprise some of our folks that watch this?
Oh, I don't know. Well, when I'm actually tuning what I'm going to listen to, I'm going to listen to Gordon Lightfoot.
Okay.
I'm going to listen to the gentleman who just wrote the song Some Old Things there. His name is Michael Reno Harrell, just a great entertainer. I will listen to Ian Tyson, back from Ian and Sylvia. I'll listen to some more current country, these guys have been 25 years ago. Gene Watson, Alan Jackson, George Strait.
George Strait's never picked a bad song.
No, he sure hasn't.
And he's songwriter. I forget his name, but the songwriter for him, he has a real twist of irony to a lot of songs. And we're going to save another session for irony and songwriting.
Sounds good.
But why don't you do another tune? Everybody, they didn't tune in just to hear me and you talk, so play them another tune.
Well, we're talking about earlier on about the lyrics of songs. Geddes and some songs. I'll do you a song that a friend of mine wrote. His name is Earl Turner. He lives up in Tryon, North Carolina, but just an amazingly talented writer. And I remember the first time I ever heard him do this particular song. It's kind of a sad one, so get your handkerchief ready and be ready.
I'll get the tissue over here.
This is called You're Gonna Need the Whole Box.
I got it.
And I'll have trouble with these words, so you'll have to help me. Consider you've never heard it.
I'll just fill in with what I got.
First time I saw Amy sitting on her mama's knee, thumb was in her mouth and her dolly at her cheek, and she looked at me with eyes that told of the pain in her heart, since her mama and her daddy split apart. I took out my guitar, sang her a little tune about a dragon and a pole who sailed the ocean blue. And her eyes lit up when I asked her if she'd like to sing along. She chimed right in and we sang this little song. And we sang Puff the Magic Dragon almost every night. She learned all the words and she always got them right. And the joy within her heart was so easy to see when she sang Puff the Magic Dragon with me. We became very close as the years went by, shooting baskets in the yard playing baseball in the park. But before she went to sleep, our day was not complete till she sang Puff the Magic Dragon with me. Then one night it happened, that great day came along, when Amy no longer asked to sing our little song. She was growing up so fast that I couldn't see that Puff the Magic Dragon was me. Oh yes, Puff the Magic Dragon was me. Though she's standing on her own, those memories still live on of when we sang that little song, and she would sing along. And we sang Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea, frolicked in the open mist and a land called Honolulu. Little Jackie Paper, he loved that rascal Puff. He brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Oh, first time I saw Winnie sitting on her mama's knee, thumb was in her mouth and her doggy at her cheek.
Well, you know, one of the things that I have come
Makes me cry.
one of the things that I've come to conclude is that there is so much talent. You told me a man from Tryon wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
Never been on the radio? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
Probably a man who worked with his hands most of his life, maybe sold insurance, did something to make a living.
Yep, still does.
There are people that are so talented and they're just undervalued and underappreciated, and we never know about their genius. I mean, I feel about that way in ministry too. There are preachers out there that are toiling away at Union Baptist Church on County Road 27
Mm-hmm.
who are doing good work and preaching great sermons, and they'll never be heard because they're on Route 27. Well, before we wrap things up, and I know you've enjoyed this, and you're going to play one more before we go, but I have to do this thing I call overrated, underrated. I ask you about a series of people or situations, and you tell me if you think that it's overrated or if it's underrated. Okay, you got it?
I hope I do.
And we get a little bit of insight into your judgment skills. All right, Alison Krauss. If you don't know the name, go look it up and listen to some of her music. Alison Krauss, overrated or underrated?
One of the most famous, great acoustic musicians anywhere in the world, and I would say she is still underrated for the level of talent that she is.
Okay, all right. And some of these are central to music. B.B. King, overrated, underrated?
I don't think you can overrate B.B. King. Just different music from what I normally listen to, but the man is a genius.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
Guacamole, overrated, underrated?
Way overrated.
Way overrated.
Way
We
overrated.
agree with that. The Sound of Music as a movie, overrated, underrated?
Underrated.
You think it's underrated?
And the reason I say that is because it's been kind of lost. You got to be 45, 50 years of age to be very familiar with the Julie Andrews version. But what a great movie, and it's not just the music. It talks about a political time in German history that needs reinforcing.
Right, and that we all need to think about all the time.
Yes.
All right, one last overrated or underrated. And I hope you remember this musical group. I'm guessing that you will. But they are a little obscure. Okay, Little Feat.
Oh, very underrated.
If you don't know who Little Feat is, you need to look it up. Play a tune or two of theirs off of YouTube. You can find them. Little Feat had a backup singer that joined them from time to time, not always. Pretty famous young lady. Do you remember her name by any chance?
I do not.
There, up there, you see that girl right there to the left?
She played with.
Emmylou-
Folks, I'm learning something from John Roy right here.
Well, write that down. That's Emmylou Harris.
Emmylou Harris, exactly.
There's a song that she and Bonnie Raitt sang with Little Feat as backup singers.
I didn't know Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah. So, yeah, this has been a profitable trip for you to the studio.
You ain't kidding.
All right. Well, the folks didn't tune in to hear me, so play them one final tune. This will be your inspiration to take you home with.
Oh, you got. I'm all ashake now because you're teaching me about Emmylou Harris. It's anything particular you'd like to hear, or
I do. I think I can give you one that you can
Okay.
play. Because we talked about going back in time. We talked about how nostalgia works a little bit today. There is an Andy Griffith show where Barney is dressed up like a woman, and the Darlings are getting one of their children married. Do you remember the Darlings?
it's called The Mountain Wedding.
The Mountain
is the name of
And
that
so,
episode.
and so Barney is dressed up. What's the girl's name?
Charlene.
Like Charlene. And they have to sing a song before the wedding. And they sing this song before the wedding, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. I think you know that one, don't you?
I don't want to sing bass. Oh, what a fellowship, what a joy to find leaning on the everlasting arms. What a fellowship, what a peace is mine, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning, safe and secure from all of ours. Leaning on the everlasting arms.
Well done. Thank you for tuning in. Remember that you can share this and like it on your own Facebook pages. Thank you for joining us. Gene, thank you for coming.
See you later.